Hi friends, this is Vicki with Grandma Vicki Crafts, and today we're going to work on our little wooden gingerbread house, and we're going to take it from this to this. And if this is something that you'd like to know how to do, just keep watching and I'll show you how step by step. So let's begin with our little house from the Dollar Tree. So what I did was, to start with, I took my blow dryer because I wanted to take the pieces off that were attached to it. So I have a door and I have a window that was up top. So I carefully removed the door and carefully removed the window. And then I'm removing this piece of snow as well. So we can just cut the tag off and we'll be rid of that. And then we can start. So I want to start by taking my antique wax and I want to paint, or stain I should say, my house with the antique wax. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go all over it. And I don't think it's going to cover. No, it won't cover. I was afraid it might cover up the little decorations that are on here. But after I get the stain on, and then I wipe it off like we do, you can still see where the little decoration would go here. So I'm going to continue and do the whole house in my stain color, which is called just antique is what it's called, and it's just antique wax. So I'm going to do that all over my little house to begin with. So I have my house stained front and back, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nutmeg brown and the areas around the windows, all around the top and the sides of the windows. I'm just going to paint that with this nutmeg brown. It's just going to look a little bit different than this antique wax. Then I'm also going to paint, I have two little gingerbread boys. I'm going to paint them in the nutmeg brown. And I'll go around my door frame as well, all around there with the nutmeg, and my other window. And the part of the window where there's snow, I will paint that in white, along with this rooftop that was supposed to indicate the snow. I'm going to paint that white for starters. So that's where I'm at, and I'll be back when I get that accomplished. So now I've got the nutmeg brown paint on the doors and around the window frame, there and there, and around this window frame there. Now I have used puffy paint on here, and I've sprinkled it with that extra fine glitter that I had. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the puffy paint on here and sprinkle that as well with the glitter. And then in my stash, I found some little Christmas trees. They're these little DIY stickers, and there was little Christmas trees in there. So I picked out two of those, and I'm going to glue those on to my little tree shapes down here. So there'll be one there and one there. And then I found a few little decorations that I got actually from Temu. And there's all kinds of just little tiny embellishments in there. So I've chosen some of those, of the candy cane theme. I don't have these glued on yet, but they're the little circles. like my little gingerbread boy here. Just like that. Those types of things. And I found the tiniest, tiniest little candy cane right there. And I glued that onto his hand. So I've got the one little boy made. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other little boy. So we're just going to continue now. So first I'm going to use the puffy paint. And I'm going to do my window frame here to represent snow. This is really neat stuff. It just comes out nice and thick and it just looks like that. So now that I've got my little beads stuck in there, get that out, I'm going to take my extra fine glitter and I'm just going to glitter on top of this. And then I'll just shake that off. And doesn't that look cute? So now I also had some different colors of puffy paint, a few tubes of colors, and I actually got these, I think, at the Dollar Tree. And you have to be careful when you're buying them. Make sure that they're thick, because I've got a couple that were really runny, and so they're really not great to use. But anyhow, so the puffy paint I used to fill in all these little decoration areas there. And now I've got another area up along here. I suppose that's to represent the lights. So we're going to go ahead and do that with the puffy paints as well. And I'm just going to use an assortment of the colors here. And just fill in those little areas. And now this takes quite a while to dry, so you'll want to give it time to dry. But while it's still wet, I'll just do a couple here, and while it's still wet, you'll want to shake on your extra fine glitter again. So I'll do that over top of my paper towel this time. So that's the idea now, and we're going to continue all along with the different colors and the glitter around the top. So I have all of my little decorations up here finished. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue on my two trees down here. And with that, I'm going to use some wood glue, just because this is wood and this also is wood. So I'm just going to use a little bit of my Weld Bond glue that I use for my projects. And I'm going to just paint the back of the little trees with this. And then this too will take a little while to dry, but it won't go anywhere once it's dry. So we'll set that down and glue that down there. Just like that. And now I'll just go ahead and I'll do the other one the same on the other side. So I have my trees glued on, and I just took those cute little decorations and I just put a few little decorations on my tree. So now there is a wreath already there on the door. And what I'm going to do though, in my stash, I did have a little wreath, and I'm not sure where I got this. It might have been Hobby Lobby years back when I was able to go there. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was in my stash, and it just seems to be the perfect size. And I'm just going to hot glue that right there on my door. So I have my hot glue gun ready, and I'm going to just put some glue on this and just glue it to my door. And it already had a little bow, so that was a bonus. And so there it is. So I think this is really starting to take shape. I'll go ahead now and I'll do my other little gingerbread boy. So all I did was I took my white puffy paint, make sure it's got a clean tip to start with there, and we're just going to do around just the top of his little wee head with the little squiggle, like so, and then around his little hands and around his little legs. So that is what we did for starters. Okay, so now I'm going to put his little eyes on, and for that I'm just using a little black marker because I don't want his eyes to be too big. And I just gave him a wee mouth as well with my marker. And so there he is. Now I'm going to take my wood glue again, and I'm going to just put on the little buttons, the little decorations, I should say, on the front of him. And I'm just using my wood glue and my paintbrush for this because it's just so tiny. And then I did find a wee candy cane for his hand as well. So I'll try to get that glued down on him there. And there he is. So I'm going to let these dry really well before I attach them to my house, but I'm going to put them on the corners of each house. Oh, and I also found some more little decorations there, and I was going to put some more on the tree. So I'm going to do that too while I've got my glue out here. So we'll just put a few more little decorations on our tree here. So now for the very bottom down here, I have used caulking. Now I've never used caulking before, but I have seen other crafters use caulking. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to give that a try. So that's going to be the snow cover on the ground. And then once again, I sprinkled it with the glitter the extra fine glitter. So now I'm going to set that aside to dry really well. And while that's drying, I'm going to work on this snowy roof. And so I am going to use the caulking to cover this and let it dry really well. And I think I might have to use my paintbrush perhaps to help me along, but I'm not sure. So I'll just go along here with my caulking like I know what I'm doing, and I don't. And I'm just, so this is my first time, as I said, but anyway, we'll see what becomes of this. So far, that's what it's looking like. And I think too, while it's still wet, I'm going to add on my glitter because I want this all to be glittery. So I'm just going to continue with my caulking stuff here and my glitter, and we'll see what it looks like. So I decided that I was going to add on my little gingerbread boys while the caulking was still wet, because then it will adhere to that too. So I just used a little bit of my glue again, my Well-Bond glue, and I'm putting it on the area where he's going to be touching the house. And then I'm going to stick his little foot down in the caulking as well. So there. That's what our little characters look like down there. Oh, this is really cute. Now, I also decided that I thought it would look nice if I put some little fairy lights on this. So I got a box from the Dollar Tree, just a package of 10, and I just turned my wire and twisted it, and I brought out my little clips to hold it down while I was trying to figure out how this was going to work. And I've just got my little bulbs shining around where I've put my little puffy paint at the top. So I'm going to hot glue that down, these lights down. I think I'm going to do that on the back side because I've got it folded over, twisted and folded over onto the back, and I'm going to glue that down. So I'm going to do that now, and then the back of the light box will just come around to the back side, and I think, if I'm lucky, that will help to support the little house and be a stand for it. So I'm going to try that and see if that's going to work, and I'll be back. So I have the lights glued down, and I was right. That battery pack case there, that will just be the stand for our little house. So that worked out perfect. So now what I've got left is my snow-covered roof. So I'm going to hot glue that down on top of here, and our little lights should hopefully show beneath it. And then I think we're getting pretty near done. So here we have our cute little gingerbread house, and I think it turned out really cute. Along with the hot glue, I also used some of my Well-Bond glue, and I also I used my little clips just to clip it, to hold it together until it's set. So now it's glued on nicely, and it's all finished now. So if this is something that you like, please give me a thumbs up. I think it turned out really cute. You can do you. This is what I did for me. So please like, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, Comment, as I really enjoy reading your comments. And always remember to be kind, and thanks so much for watching. Bye now.